Hey ladies, so this week I want to talk to you about eating mindfully. So I know when I say that, the majority of you are probably thinking, like eat a nutrient dense meal, like make sure there's a carb, fat, and protein, or, measure your portion sizes, or make good choices. And of course, that absolutely means eating mindfully. But I want to take it one step further and talk about another aspect of eating mindfully that the majority of us don't think about, and I have been taught in the past, and I go in phases with it, but when I really concentrated on it, I notice a big difference in my energy levels and my digestion, and any tummy symptoms that I experience, and it's pretty wild that these things, you'd think they are so insignificant, but you'd be amazed how well and how much of a difference it actually makes. So what I'm talking about, of course, we're talking about eating mindfully and making good choices, yes, but taking it one step further. So eating mindlessly, we know what that means also, right? Eating mindlessly is when we're just munching and we're snacking because we're bored or we're stressed, or we're shoving popcorn in our mouth while we're watching a Netflix show. We're not really paying attention, right? So you're all familiar with that part, eating mindlessly, but what does it mean to actually eat mindfully? So what I want to talk about is actually paying attention to your food while you're eating it. So think about it. A lot of us, we make a protein shake and we're drinking it in the car on the way to work, or we bring a sandwich and we're eating it at our desk, or I don't know about you guys, but I'm very guilty of eating. I work from home, but not everybody does, but I'm very guilty of coming down from my office, going to the kitchen, making my lunch, and standing at the counter to eat my lunch. How many of us eat our food and scroll our phone? We're scrolling while we're eating, or we have the TV on in the background. So we're not actually paying attention to the act of eating, so to say. So you guys know I firmly believe knowledge is power. So just think about even just this tiny scientific part of it. So the first stage of digestion, you would think, is when you start chewing, right? You start chewing the food, it's going down your throat, but that is not actually the first stage of digestion. The first stage of digestion is actually when your eyes visually see your food. Your brain is going to trigger your salivary glands to start salivating, because the chemicals, we'll say, in your saliva is going to help break down your food. So think about it. If you're not actually looking at your food at any point in time, you're skipping an entire step of the digestion process. Your eyes are not going to trigger your brain to start salivating. You don't have the proper ingredients in your mouth, so to say, to break down that food, and that's starting at the very first step. So it's kind of going to be all downhill from there, if you know what I mean, okay? So what I want you guys to try to do this week is to mindfully eat your food. So I want you to make your plate or make your shake or whatever it might be, and I want you to take it to your seat, and I want you to sit and just look at your food first. Take a couple deep breaths, like look at it, like, wow, that really looks delicious. I'm excited to eat this. Again, I realize how silly this sounds sometimes, but I want you to look at your plate of food, sit there, take a deep breath, and allow the digestion process to begin, okay? And I want you to try to do this without a technological device being on. I want you to try to do it at a time that you're not driving. I want you to do it at a time that you can sit and you can first look at your food, and then upon taking the first bite, I want you to take a first bite and put your fork down and sit and think about how your food tastes. Is this salty? Is it sweet? Is this delicious? Did I make the most perfect bowl of oatmeal ever in my life? Wow, this is the most amazing thing I ever have tasted. I want you to sit there and taste it in your mouth and like acknowledge what is going on in your mouth while you are chewing your food. And then you're going to swallow, take a deep breath, pick up your fork, and you're gonna you're gonna take your next bite of food. Okay, so it sounds like the silliest little thing, and like I said, even myself, I believe it sounds a little silly, and when things get crazy and I get stressed and I get busy, I find myself right back at that counter eating my food, scrolling my emails and doing 900 other things while I'm trying to eat my breakfast or lunch or whatever it is. But I do notice a huge difference when I am aware of this, when I take my time, when I eat in quiet, when I eat with no devices, when I acknowledge my food, when I am listening to the sounds, tasting the feels, when I'm doing all those things and just sitting quietly with myself and eating my meal. And it doesn't have to be long. You don't have to do it for a very long time. It might only take you 5 or 6 minutes to eat your oatmeal. Then you can be up and on to the next thing. But see this week if you could take some time to do that on your own, in peace and quiet, and see if you notice any difference in how you might be feeling hunger-wise, tummy-wise, gas-wise, any of those things. All right, just a little tidbit. I'm excited to hear from you if you notice any differences. All right, guys, have a great week. Bye.